Good morning, Carpe Diem, Bossy Toes, Faithful One, good morning. I am running a little bit behind this morning, so please forgive me. So I'm here. I'll greet everybody as they come in, but it's a little bit behind still. So bear with me. Morning, Linda, Carla. Alrighty. Got one last thing to do, and then we'll get this started. Like I said, I'm running just a couple minutes behind here. I have to grab my coffee. I woke up a little bit late, and then I went back to bed, laid down because I had a headache, and well, now everything that was supposed to be ready and up and going, I run a little bit behind on. So we'll say hello to everybody, and then I'm going to grab my coffee. So Marcia, good morning. Diana, Kathy, good morning. I'll be right back. Coffee. Had to grab my coffee. Need coffee because there's coffee and chat. Oh yeah, nice fresh pot of coffee. Let's see here. Eve, good morning. Connie, good morning. Amelia, good morning. Love the Sun, good morning. Jennifer Johnson, welcome to the stream. I hope you are all having a terrific morning, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Good morning, beautiful friends. I'm doing great, Linda. Thank you for asking. I hope you are staying warm and safe out there in the snowy, well, I don't know. Do you have snow? Gayla, good morning. Just finished chugging my mocha over here. I'm all out of mocha. I buy the store that I buy it at, they don't have it anymore. It's made by Cafe Express makes it, and so does you make it at home. It's not like when you go to a coffee shop and buy by itself, but it's got like the instant pack of coffee, and then it's got the mocha mix that you mix in with it. It's actually pretty good. Good morning, Pretty and Camo. But they're all out of it. They Nescafé makes one, and I think Starbucks makes one too that you can buy in the grocery store. But I'll have to look for another one. I don't drink them all that often, but I take them and I throw them in the glove box of my car, because I can always take a thermos of hot water with me, especially when I go golfing. I can put them in the little side pouch thing of for my golf cart and take it with me. Have something warm to drink while I'm out on the golf course. Try Hershey's syrup and creamer. Yeah, the thing is, I can't take a lot of creamer. I had my gallbladder removed. See, that was, I want to say 4 years ago. So I have to watch, especially when it comes to like cheeses and fatty foods. I can't take a lot of creamer and stuff like that. So I have to limit, what kind of creamers. It has to be non-dairy, basically. So, and I know there's some really good non-dairy creamers out there, like almond creamer and stuff like that. They're made from almond milk. I don't know how you squeeze milk out of an almond, but I just mix hot chocolate with my coffee when I'm out of creamer. Yeah, it sounds good. God knows we have enough hot chocolate. My daughter is a huge fan of hot chocolate, especially like double Dutch chocolate and mint chocolate, hot cocos. So we have a lot of that. I'd have to play around with it to try to get the ratio right. But saying that, but they had two little individual packets, and I just throw them in the glove box of my truck or my golf cart, and I can take hot water with me anywhere, in a thermos. So I'll maybe I can get like a little plastic dish or something with a lid that's sealable, and then I can put it in there, or maybe even a Ziploc bag, and then just kind of shake it out into the my mug. Yeah, Emil, if you want to hear the quick story about that, about my gallbladder, I'll tell you all really quickly. So this is what happened. I was sitting at home, not this house that we live in now, but the house we lived in just before this. It's about, I'd say, 6 miles from the hospital, and I woke up that morning, sat down, and was working, finishing up some paperwork for the, that I had for the job I had at the time, and finishing some paperwork. And I just started to feel like this, like it felt like heartburn. It was coming on. And it was like, oh, and I just couldn't get rid of it. I mean, I took a bunch of, over the counter, Malax and Pepto-Bismol. I was eating, leading up to that day. I was just taking so many of it, and I just couldn't get the heartburn to go away. And it got, that day in particular, it got worse and worse and worse. And my wife at the time was working graveyard shift at the hospital itself. But she had just gotten off of graveyard and she was home, and I was sitting there and I'm like, I don't feel well at all. And me being the cheap person I am, because, well, in case you didn't know that, I am a very cheap individual. And I'll save any way I can save $1, I will, or 50 cents. You know, I'm one of those people, when you go into the grocery store and you get in line behind me, you're going to want to just turn around and leave, because I'm going to have 4,000 coupons to, on whatever I can. But that's just me. All right. So anyway, I was feeling terrible, and worse and worse and worse. And I finally got to the point where I was like, I got to go, to the hospital. And I walked into the bedroom and I tried to wake my wife up. I said, honey, I got to go to the hospital. I'm dying here. And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And she rolled back over and went back to sleep. So at the time, we had a Ford Taurus, green, inside and out, ugly car, but it ran perfectly fine. So I got in behind the wheel of the car, backed out of the driveway, and I made it about a block before I started to pass out because I was in so much pain. Pulled over, made it in about another block, and I passed out at a traffic light. And if it wasn't for someone knocking on my window and asking me if I was all right, and I looked at him and I was like, ah. And then I drove a couple more blocks. I finally got all the way to the hospital, and I pulled up outside the ER, and I just threw the car in park. I didn't even turn it off. I just walked into it, and I said, I don't know what's going on, if I'm having a heart attack or what, but there's something seriously wrong with me. And they brought a wheelchair. They wheeled me in the back. They started testing me, and they found out that my gallbladder had actually ruptured, and I was leaking bile into my blood system. So they rushed me into emergency surgery and removed my gallbladder. So that's the story behind that. My wife was going to let me die because she was tired from working and didn't believe me that I needed to go to the hospital. That's my version. It's not the truth, but, apparently I didn't stress it enough to her, or whatever her version is. Yeah. I ended up spending a week and a half in the hospital after surgery, while they had to make sure that they got I guess basically did almost like an oil change on me, flushed the blood out, and to make sure that there was no more bile in my system. That was fun. I wanted to leave after I woke up and came to from the surgery. Good morning, Shay, Carrie, Ludwig. Good morning. I hope you are all doing well. Interpeas, good morning. Chatterboxes, good morning. Oh, thank you, Linda. I'm going to have a great day today. I'm going to have a great weekend. I don't know about everybody else. I hope everybody else does. Pink Camo, good morning. You love that piano. This is a. I don't know if you can see like the distortion on my hands and my face. This is a green screen. I'm sitting in front of a green screen because, I've been gone for the last 3 days almost, and I did not clean this studio. Everything is just a trash in here. So, I was like, all right, fine. I'll just move over here to this side and sit in my wife's big comfy chair. This is a really comfortable chair, ladies and gentlemen. She bought this for $10. And I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's a crushed velvet, and it's like a lavender color. I mean, I don't know if that's picking it up on the camera though, all that well. It kind of looks stained, but that's just how the crushed velvet is on it. How the light hits it. But it's perfect chair. Nothing wrong with it at all. The lady was going to throw it in the dumpster if my wife wouldn't have bought it. She just didn't want it anymore. I have a stream coming up in 45, so I must say goodbye. Bye, Linda. You have a great day. Stay safe and warm out there, sweetheart. Queen C, Will, is this your house? No, this is a green screen. I can't turn the well, I guess I could. Let's see here. Go to settings. There. That's what it looks like. I'm sitting in front of a green screen. There, here's a basement. I could change it to that, so it looks like I'm in a basement someplace, or a starry night. But it still gets this. I can still get into distortion on my face and my hands and my hat. Oh, my wife is just like me. We are huge bargain shoppers. We've worked most of our lives, and the first part of our relationship together, we had nothing. We didn't have two nickels to rub together at all, and that is the honest truth. Trying to keep the electricity on and food in our bellies was our just trying to make it by week to week, paycheck to paycheck, and we know what it's like to be absolutely broke, to the point where we faced eviction, foreclosure on the house. It wasn't our house, but foreclosure. We actually ended up buying a house that was in foreclosure, and then turned out that the person we were buying it from wasn't making the payments to get it out of foreclosure. We lost a lot of money on that place, but we suffered. We really did, and we struggled to get by when we first got together and we started dating. And because we actually have always put forth, and education was the one thing that we always knew. And we live by this golden rule. In education is something that can never be taken away from you. In this world, you can lose everything. You can have nothing at all. Not even a crappy car, a hoopty, or whatever you want to call it. But as long as you have an education, you can be something, make something better of your life if you want it to be. And we truly believe that. When I first met my wife, she was a high school dropout. Well, I wouldn't call her a high school dropout. She just stopped going. And she was working in a convenience store. And I would walk 4 miles, every other day to her store from where I lived. I mean, I had a car, but I needed to exercise because I spent most of my time sitting behind a desk. So I would walk to her store and I'd hang out with her while she worked the graveyard shift, and at this convenience store. And we went from that to me working dead-end jobs, that I really didn't like, and I hated going to work. We went from that to, an opportunity in education came about. She went through school, got her high school diploma, got her, eventually she got her AA. And everything is, changed from there. Once we started to get our education and put it into actual practice, same thing for me. I didn't use the GI Bill until much later. I figured that, I'll work a job and I'll be a company man, and, the company will always take care of me. I worked for a company for quite a few years, and then they folded and I lost everything. And it turned out that not even the 401k that I had was worth anything at all. So I went to school and I said, this is what I'm going to do. And I did that for 15 years. And then I quit to do this. This is the next chapter of my life, on this journey that I'm on, the journey of life. Just remember, you can live your car, but you can't drive your car to work. Your car to work. I don't know. I've been broke to the point where I lived in a 1988 Ford Escape. I lived in it. It was only for a couple of months, but I lived in it. Didn't have any place else to go. I couch surfed for a while. After I got out of the service, I bounced around between my mom's apartment, friends' houses, couch surfed, as they call it. And then I lived in my car. I had to do something. When they don't give you a giant check at the end of it all and say, here you go, now you can, get a job and, and set yourself up. Now they kind of kick you to the curb. Streets are full of educated people sleeping rough. Education is losing its status fast these days. Well, maybe. But with an education, though, I see you have the opportunity to, make, something better. Without an education, you can't find the job that's going to pay you a living wage to be able to survive in this world. And I'm not saying that, college is for everybody. I have friends who went to trade school who make way more than I'll ever make. I have a buddy, he started off, he went through trade school. He got a job as a welder. Then he went into metal fabrication. And now he works for a medical company making medical devices, welding medical devices and prosthetic devices for third world countries. He makes, well over six figures a year. He's never spent a single day of his life in college. So his life experience and his trade have set him up. And he loves what he does. Robin, welcome. Not working. Depending on Uncle Sam to pay rent. The funny thing about this along that lines though, when me and my wife when we first got together and we were dating, and right around the time that our daughter was born, we always made too much money for any kind of assistance in the state that we live in. So we made too much money. They wouldn't help us, with food. They wouldn't help us with rent. They wouldn't help us with anything at all. They had what they called WIC, which was like food for infant children. They give you beans and rice and stuff like that. They'd give her that for, I think, for like the first 6 months, but then they cut that off. But the one thing that we always wanted assistance with, the one thing that we needed assistance with, was childcare for our daughter. Trying to work and struggling to get by to make ends meet, but we couldn't afford daycare. Daycare, it's a killer. I don't know where everybody else lives in this world, but daycare was one of those things. It's like, we can either put her someplace where it's just like, baby, warehouse, where all they're doing is just sticking them in a room and leaving them to, end of the day. Or, trying to find something, decent where someone's going to interact with her. Costs so much money. It was basically one of our incomes was going to just pay for childcare, if not more in some cases. And, that's hard to lift yourself up out of a situation when you have to pay for childcare. It's outrageous. Duty calls. Nice talking to you all. Stay safe and have a great week. Bye, Amelia. I'll get it right eventually. I see the name, and then it's just not registering my brain right away. And in our state, it's still outrageous. I'm lucky now. I'm in the situation, where I am, that my son is, he goes to school, preschool, but he goes to preschool 2 days a week instead. He was supposed to be going 4 days, but because of COVID and everything else, they do 2 days. And then for one group, and AA group, BB group, they go Monday, Tuesdays, and then they have CC group and DD group who goes Thursday, Fridays. Wednesdays, they just spend sterilizing the classrooms. So leave it to Beaver. Good morning. Grandmas come in handy for childcare. Yeah, we were pretty fortunate to, on the weekends though. Because my wife's mother, she works full time too, and then she retired. About the middle, I think my daughter was 14, 15 when she retired. So, she moved out of the country for a while, and when she was traveling, and she bought a plantation in Belize, of all places. But she did come in handy, especially on the weekends when my daughter was younger. But now she's back. She's working. She helps watch my son on Mondays sometimes, during the summer, because it just happens to work with her schedule because she works on Saturdays, so she would only have Sundays available. But now she can do it on Mondays. But yes, grandparents do definitely come in handy. I'm a grandmother raising 4 grandchildren. My granddaughter passed away. I'm also babysitting my other grandchildren because she can't afford daycare center. I'm sorry, Brenda, but I guess on the upside though, you get to spend a lot of time with them. My buddy Tim, he's got 3 grandchildren that he's raising. Zelda. First off, it's a green screen. It's not real. But I can't play the piano. Unfortunately, that is one of the skills I do not possess. My father he used to play the organ all the time. He loved his organ, and he used to play it in church too. But I never learned the piano or the organ at all. I picked up when I was younger. I picked up the guitar. Used to be able to play it really well. Not anymore. Stopped playing after my arm injury. I've saved my son thousands of dollars due to the caring. Well, grandchildren and children are a blessing in themselves. That's why I've never been able to understand how anybody can harm their own children. I'll live the rest of my life and never understand it. You're doing a terrific job, Brenda. And thank you, definitely for doing that. It'll come back tenfold for you. As they grow older, they're going to remember that grandma took care of us. Isn't it strange that nowadays people need grandparents? I needed my grandparents when I was younger. I don't, but I'm kind of an oddball. I used to love going to my grandparents' house and just listening to them and their friends or talk. My grandparents, they lived across the street from me. They didn't live that far, but growing up, and I used to go over and just talk to my grandfather, about anything and everything, and listen to his stories about, what it was like living through the Great Depression, and and going through the hardships of, because he was a farmer, the hardships of, the late 70s and 80s, and how they, farming had changed over the years. I loved talking to him. And I spend a lot of my time to the day not today, in particular, but I spent a lot of time. A lot of my friends are a lot older than me, and there's a great value of information that's there that, well, I am sorry to say, but for the most part, the younger generation is missing. And if you don't learn from if you're elders, you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes that happened in the past. All my grandparents are now deceased. Good morning, Tracy. Oh, I'm sorry, Carpe Diem. Robin, you're almost out of family completely. I'm sorry. But the only family I have left is I have I've got one sister in Colorado. I've got one sister who lives a town away from me. And I got one sister that lives in well, I wouldn't call it upstate, but it's more upstate Minnesota. And then we don't know where my brother is. Most likely deceased. But I lost uncles. They're passing faster and faster. Most of the family that I have from my mother's side of the family are, they're not people I want to associate with or talk to ever. Most of my father's side of the family is gone. Carrie Ludwig, Ballard, Seattle, Washington. Is that where you're at, Carrie? Ballard? Ballard's pretty. I had a friend who used to live in Ballard. She moved from Ballard to Mukilteo. Right on the Mukilteo Speedway. It goes to the ferry landing. She lives, it's about a quarter mile from where the ferry landing is. Your daughter-in-law is a Finley. Huh. I was talking to somebody the other day who actually might be a member of our family, our kinfolk, because they're down in Mississippi. Look above, Will. What did I miss? Her dad's name is Dale Finley. Michelle, welcome. I have she's married into the family, so she would be an uncle's second wife. But she has been our family genealogist, and she can trace our family back to, I think, 1726. We have an actual book of our family genealogy. Now, we know we have relatives who live in Oregon City, Oregon. We have relatives in the San Francisco Bay Area, in Oakland and in San Francisco. We have relatives that are all over the South, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, down there, mainly North Carolina. And then a lot of them are in Wisconsin and in Minnesota. And we actually, it's got like a family tree that you can fold out from the actual book itself. My sister has the book at her house. I think the last time it was updated was, I want to say 1999. It's been a while since the book was updated. So there are probably a lot of, nieces and nephews and children and stuff like that that are not on there in the book. But a lot of the parents, grandparents and stuff like that are. You love Cali? I love visiting there. Wouldn't want to stay there though. Grandparents lived in Ballard. Their house was worth $30,000. Now it's worth $1 million. I made it. I had a condo when I lived in Seattle. I lived in Linwood, Washington, but I had a condo that was right off of Highway 99 by the Lake Serene area. But I had a condo there, and I bought it. It was like 130, 135, somewhere like that, but that was back in the mid 90s. And when we sold it, it was $250,000. It more than doubled in the two and a half years that we lived there. It's ridiculous how much the property values up there, go up and down, but especially up. I mean, they don't really go down all that much, but they definitely go up. My mother's birthday is the 24th, and is alive would have been 94. Wow. Well, happy birthday to your mother in heaven. I'm sure she's looking after you right now, Marcia. Did your family move to Lake Morgan, North Carolina, and they left you behind, Robin? I was in college. That was the first time I ever went to San Francisco. Me and a bunch of buddies, 4 of us total. We jumped in my friend's car and we took a drive down Highway 99, down the coast from Washington, down Oregon, into San Francisco. Lived in San Francisco Bay Area for a long time. But I moved to Boise to care for my son's kids. I miss California. Boise's a pretty area. Kathy, question mark? Yesterday would have been your granny's birthday, Connie. Well, happy birthday to your granny. I'm sure she's looking out for you and she's doing well on the other side. Someday, eventually, we'll all get a chance to visit our past, our relatives who have gone on to the other side. And good morning, Mike. Allah Akbar. Good morning to you, sir. You moved back home to Florida and to be near them, and then they moved to North Carolina. I like Boise, okay, but it's not the beach. Now, especially at this time of year, I'm sure it's not all that pleasant in Boise, the weather. You're in Gainesville, Florida. Gators Nationals are back March 11th through the 14th. Y'all coming? The weather's great. Bossy Toes. Gator Nationals. I've never heard of Gator Nationals. Live in Sacramento. Nice weather. Jobs, however, too expensive. Gayla, I understand that. Everybody I know, and I'm not joking, everybody I know who can get out of Florida, out of California, everybody I know who is in California or was in California if they could leave, they have. They've all left. Drag racing? Oh, I have an uncle. He used to drag race motorcycles. That man broke just about every goddamn bone in his body. Sorry for my figure of speech there, but he did. He has broken. He doesn't race anymore. He for several years after his last accident, he backed another team. A supporter, financially. Then he went into what do they call it? Drag boats. He did that for a while. Yeah, he was born with basically a silver spoon in his mouth. My uncle, that would be my nephew, right? My uncle's son, nephew, no, cousin. Whatever the hell the relationship is, I don't care. But my uncle, Roy, he had about a dozen Sinclair gas stations. He bought up in the 70s during the oil embargo, as gas stations were failing because they didn't have any gasoline. He was buying up gas stations left and right. And then cousin, thank you. And he, decided that he needed to. These gas stations needed to have more than just gasoline and fixing cars. So he started converting them to gas stations and kind of like small mini marts, and he made a killing, an absolute killing it in the market. Because by the mid 90s, I'd say 18, 19 years later, I mean, his portfolio was just through the roof. And then he kept them all until early 2000s and then sold them all off. Everything. Now he owns a lake. Owns the entire lake and all the property all the way around it. You can't go there to go fishing, nothing, without paying him money. You don't go to the beach? I live across the street from a beach, but I haven't been there in years. I guess it's time to move. Huh. If I had a beach across the street, I'd be over there all the time. Unless it was like, an unsavory beach. Do you or anyone here do Bitcoin? Not me. My wife just opened up an account with Robinhood Trading. Yep. We're now day traders. I guess we could be. But we put $100 in it. That's it. $100. But we own no Bitcoin. I don't understand cryptocurrency. I'm sorry. I've read a little bit about it, but I don't own any of it, and the entire idea behind cryptocurrency and its value scares me. I work too hard for my money. Have I ever been to Memphis, Tennessee? Yes, I have. Several times. Used to go when I was younger. I used to go with my friend Brett. His grandfather was one of the original founders of Rubbermaid. And we would fly from here down to Mobile, Alabama. And when we get to Mobile, Alabama, we would travel around the South with his grandfather as he needed to conduct business. And sometimes we would go sightseeing, and do little things here and there. But yeah, Memphis, Tennessee, been there quite a few times. Nashville. I have, Robin, I have been to every single state in the United States, at least once. Well, some of them I've just driven through, didn't really stop in, but I've been to every one. Alaska and Hawaii counted. I've never been to the Puerto Rico or any of the the islands, but I've been to all the states. Doge coin. I don't know what that is. Is that another cryptocurrency? You retain that kind of knowledge for whatever reason. Oh, my friends tell me that I'm kind of like Cliff Clavin, from Cheers. I have a ton of useless information in my head that nobody really wants, but I have it anyways. Well, we were talking last weekend when me and Tim went. We were at the poker party, and somebody mentioned something about a case where a husband and wife, he killed her and then he committed suicide, and they thought it was kind of a strange and bizarre. And I'm sitting there nice and quietly listening to it, and then Tim turns to me and goes, "Bill, have you ever heard of this case?" And I go, I go, "Yeah, I have." And then I went on about a 6 or 7 minute, spew about the case and, the circumstances of it. And everybody is sitting around the poker table is just like, "You're fucking weird." These are my friends I've known, for 20 plus years, or more. They just think I'm weird. Good morning, still here? They're like, "Why would you need to know all that stuff?" Because, a lot of my friends don't know that I do this. They have no idea that this is what I do anymore. They all think I still work for the company I worked at before this. Because unlike a lot of people, they tell you start off your YouTube, career. What you need to do, you need to tell your friends and family, get them to subscribe, and then, maybe spam your Facebook or your social media. Not me. Not me. I didn't tell anybody. Didn't tell anybody except for my wife. Want organic growth. Blank faces, at least they didn't say. I'm not going to lie. Anyone in your circle dies, I'm calling Crime Stoppers. Yeah, they find it really peculiar that I would want to sit around and talk about such morbid things all day long as they see it. My friend Jim looked at me and said, "Look, we spent all those years in the service, for our country. Why would you want to talk about, death now?" That was pretty much his thought on it all. Excuse me. I'm still here. Will's undercover duty. Your kids would think you're weird. Try to most of the time when I tell people what I do, they're like, "You do what now?" I'm like, I make content for YouTube. Digital creator, and they're like, "That pays money?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I have to pay the bills. I mean, every day I still have to pay for electricity and run all this stuff. So yeah, it pays." See, Nili, it doesn't. All right, I'm not on. I got to open up the other tab here. I'm not sure if that's a super chat or a super sticker. Oh, it is a super sticker. Well, thank you for the for buying the super sticker. I appreciate it. Yep, smoke break. Smoke them if you got them. All inner peas. It's a green screen, sweetheart. It's not my real living room. I couldn't I'm gonna turn the stupid thing back on, the camera on. I couldn't smoke in my house. Well, first off, my wife would kill me if I ever thought about doing that. Secondly, right now in my living room, I have a 4-year-old son who is running around buck naked. So, yeah, we're not having this stream inside the house. Any chance you can get a birthday shout out from Miss H? Of course. Happy birthday, Miss H. But no, I'll show you again. That's the background. It's a green screen. I can pick any picture I want. I could make the picture me in the background, or prison bars, creepy basement, brick wall. Oop, forgot to turn the camera off. Don't need another email from YouTube. It's weird to fall asleep listening to a serial killer YouTube stories. I quit that 3 years ago, smoking. It was the hardest ever. I still have times where it's hard. Well, good for you, Marsha. I'm glad you gave it up. Happy birthday, Cody. Good morning, Rupal. Go back to a different picture than brick wall. Let's put me in the creepy basement. Still here? Is that channel still here? That's crazy. Yeah, I was out of town, so I didn't have a chance to clean the studio. There's garbage just all over the place, and it's all just everything's laid out on the table here, all the cameras and camera gear, and I was like, you know what? I'll just turn on the green screen, sit in my wife's chair, because she's still decorating. Well, you obviously can't see it now because the green screen behind me, but there's 2 studios. I built 2 studios, and she's still decorating the other one. She put up drapes, and she's made, she got a rug and another chair, one for me to sit in, but it's not the same. And it's not done, so she doesn't want to use that one that's where we film our podcast, is in the other studio. So, I mean, if you think about it, so there's now the podcast. There's 401 now. There is Inebriated Truth. I will be on the Longest Yard, number 2 podcast. This is all I do. Feel like I never leave this camera, or the camera's with me everywhere. Good wife, Gianna Marie, good morning. Welcome to the stream. I'm sorry if I missed you earlier. I hope you are having a great day today. You know that. Speaking of just your name, Gianna Marie. There is a Dawn Marie. There is a Laura Marie, Gianna Marie, and a Stephanie Marie that follow our their subscribers, and they're in and out of the comment sections of live streams. You're hoping it was a bad dream. Good wife, yeah. She's slowly decorating as she can get deals here and there on things. Hold on a second. Stupid phone. I finally got running water 2 days ago. All the pipes have got frozen and some busted 10 days without. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Brenda. Well, I hope that it's not going to be too costly to you to get them fixed. Outright asked you, are you Flynn? In a comment, full on drama, said, yes, I'm Flynn. In for a drought? I watch a YouTube channel that's German in Venice. He talks about the homeless population in Venice Beach, and in the surrounding areas. Every once in a while we chat back and forth by message, and he was telling me that it's been a long time since they've had any rain. They got some about a month ago, but that was about it. My wonderful 6'10" son fixed them. Wow, that's a big boy. 6'10". Darn. Must have been fun keeping him clothed when he was younger. I say that because I just bought shoes for my son. They're a giant scam. My son's foot has outgrown the toddler little kid size. Now he wears a size 1 in shoe. Yeah, size 1. He's 4. He's already, he's about a little bit more than half as tall as my wife. And he's 4. He's going to be a big boy. He's a big boy now. He could eat. Oh, my son can eat. And they can eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Oh, Stotch trial. Is it Rebecca Stotch? I haven't followed it. Now, what little I have followed about Robin is Letitia Stotch. Thank you. It looks like a dumpster fire. You thought he was tall when he was 6'7"? Yeah, who was it that I think it was Scott who did a video on her the other day. I haven't watched it yet. But she's going to be acting as her own counsel, representing herself, Robin. Yeah. I don't know. She better hope that she's got somebody else to help her with it. They say that what is it the saying? An attorney who represents themselves has a fool for a client. Scott Reich, over at Crime Talk, he does a great job. Wow, I think it's actually true. It's a good saying, but it's also true. And Rosemary Kennedy, I'm sorry I missed your super sticker there. Thank you for buying the super sticker. I wasn't trying to. I was actually scrolling up and down there trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody to say hello on KS. Good morning. Hoping all is well in the Pacific Northwest. It is. Thank you. Hope you are doing well. Jacqueline, good morning. You like Scott? Scott does a great job. Sometimes his content bothers me a little bit. It's not because of what he's doing, it's just how he delivers it. It's kind of deadpanned. But then again, people say the same thing about me. So she thinks that she can do a better job than the attorneys. Good luck. Good luck with that. I prefer my cousin Vinny. My cousin Vinny and Marissa Tomei. If I ever need an expert, in automotive history, I'm calling Marissa Tomei. Stardust, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are doing well. How random. This is a good movie. What was got? Ralph Macchio in it, too. I wonder what Ralph Macchio is doing these days. Marissa Tomei. Did she win an Oscar for that? I feel like my dad is near. I haven't heard anyone mention that movie in so long. Might be. Cobra Kai. Is that the show he's on now? Just the other day, my mother-in-law bought me a T-shirt that says "Wax on, Wax off," and it's got Mr. Miyagi in the middle of it. The picture of on it. She was at a store and she saw it, and she's like, if anybody's gonna like this one, it's you. It was really cool of her to do that, though. It's filming a new series of Cobra Kai. Huh. Well, now I know. Now I know where he is and what he's doing. I have Netflix, but I never watch it. And occasionally, when I do, it's I'll watch. I'm a Killer. I think it is the series that's on there. Wax on, wax off. Yep. I don't watch much TV. Don't have time to, and there's not a whole lot on TV that that really interests me. I'm more into documentaries and history. It's good. In the Wayne's World basement. Wayne's World, party on, Garth. I'm just trying to think. Wayne's World. I used to watch Wayne's World on, what was it, MTV? Wherever that, yeah, it was on MTV, wasn't it? Don't watch much TV, just certain things. Yeah. Wayne's World. Party time. Excellent. All the great actors are getting old. Yeah. MTV. Music television. I watched it all the way up till they stopped playing music. Then when it all became reality TV, I was just like, why am I even tuning into this? Stardust 30? Are you 30 years old? Oh, you wish we could stay at 30? Dana Carvey. I loved Dana Carvey on Saturday Night Live as the church lady. Well, isn't that special? that was some good skits. Dana Carvey is the church lady. I can still picture the dance, the church lady dance. Wish you could travel back to 30. I don't. I mean, if I could keep all the knowledge that I have now, and go back to 30, yeah, maybe I'd think about it. But I don't know. 30 wasn't exactly the best years of my life. 40 wasn't, was getting there. But I'm comfortable in my own skin today, and I like where I am for the most part. I mean, it could always, work for more, and I do every day. We can make our own reality. Chopping the broccoli. Kevin says you should have Michael Myers figure in your basement. Well, Kevin, in this basement, the more likelihood is that Leatherface is gonna jump out. There. Now I'm not in the basement anymore. Now I'm back in the living room. I wasted a decade married to a jerk, and I'm still single, no kids. I'd love a do-over. Now, just make the best of every day, Robin. Make the best of every day, and you never know where you're going to find love. You never know. Trust me, when I met my wife, I was not looking for a relationship or anything at all. And when we first met each other, we fought like cats and dogs. We couldn't agree on anything. If someone said the sky was blue, she'd say it was green. She'd tell me then go into some scientific reason why the sky is not really blue because of the optics and everything else. And it's just like, why can't you just agree that the sky's blue? Why? But you never know. Never know when it's gonna happen. Kevin says that'll work. He is seriously unhinged. Well, good morning, Kevin. I hope you guys have a great day today. I did all the hard work that I'm going to do in my teens, 20s, and 30s. No more. Not going to do it anymore, huh? Jacqueline, no, it's not even real. It's a green screen. I mean, I could put anything up. It could be a brick wall, jail cell, whatever I want in the background. I do not play the piano. I never learned how to play the piano or organ or anything, any keyboard kind of instrument. Yeah, it's true though. Me and my wife have been married for 25 years. 25 years, as a couple months ago. So I guess technically we're on year number 26 now because we made it past 25. Well, thank you, Connie, and to Kevin. I am going to have a wonderful day. I'm going to have a wonderful weekend. Today, after this live stream, I'm going to go golfing for the first time since I hurt my shoulder. And we're going to see how that works out. And then I'm going to, after that, I'm going to come home and I'm going to hang out with my son for the rest of the night. So that's good. I love doing that. And then, well, I think my mother-in-law is coming over for dinner tonight. And my wife's going out for ladies' night. So there are a bunch of ladies that are going to get together and they're going to have margaritas and mojitos. So she's going to do that for a while tonight. And then tomorrow, Sunday, what do I have planned for Sunday? And besides the live streams, I had something else planned for tomorrow. It isn't written on my board either. I have nothing written down for tomorrow. Yes, Marcia, all of it went away. All the snow we got, it took about 3 days, gone. It hit like 50 degrees here, and then we had that what they call a centennial wind or some kind of wind. I don't know. It's a westerly wind that blows in from the mountains and the coast area, and it took care of it all. It was all gone, and then it turned into a swamp for a while. So I'm sure it's going to be nice and boggy out there on the golf course. It is 12:11 in Toledo, Ohio right now. In Toledo, Ohio. Have a happy Saturday, Will, and the rest of following checkers. Are you leaving, Robin? If so, I hope you have a great day today. Oh, lumpia. Gonna have lumpia and rice pilaf, then baked snickerdoodles. I love snickerdoodles. Gayla, you know what my daughter calls my favorite cookie? The snickerdoodle. She calls them a basic bitch cookie. That's what my daughter calls them. I don't know why, but she does. Every time I make them or I buy them from the store, she's like, "Oh, I don't want any of those basic bitch cookies." And I'm like, "Damn, what's wrong with you?" Our 14 inches of snow is almost gone in Toledo. I'm just glad it thawed out in Texas. My friends down in Texas, they weren't enjoying all that weather at all. Lumpia. Oh, that sounds good. I could use some lumpia right now. Lumpia and some egg rolls. I'll call my sister up. She's supposed to be coming over this morning to see if she'll make me some. Either that or adobo. Inner peace is coming over. Yum, yum. It might take a while, though. I love snickerdoodles. I mean, it's been one of my favorite cookies ever since I was a little boy. My great grandmother used to make them for me. My great grandmother was one of these people. It's like, if I went over to her house, she wouldn't let you leave until she fed you, and she'd just keep on feeding you. Yeah, my sister's husband is Filipino. His family they escaped the Philippines. His father was the general for Marcos when the Marcos coup happened. Their entire family fled the Philippines, and they settled in Hawaii and here in the United States and in San Francisco. But we go to what it's called the FLAM, Filipino American Society. We have a huge presence here in our area, and we get together for potlucks all the time. My wife loves pork and chicken adobo. It's seasoning, I guess basically, how you describe it. Filet steak beef, plus the trimmings. But it's my birthday after all. Is it your birthday, Nil? C Nil. Well, happy birthday to everybody out there who's having a birthday, or a grandparent or somebody who's passed on. Happy birthday to everybody. So, since C Neil, is there anybody else here who's having a birthday today? You pronounce it like senile? Senile, like dementia. That's what I thought. Or not even though there's a space there, so it's not two words. You meant it as one word, like senile, but senile because you made a mistake and put a space in there. I get it. Senile is in dementia. Now I see your comment. Senile. Well, happy birthday. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear senile. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Now, you'll probably forget this in a minute because of, senile. I like whatever I can get away with cooking in my Instapot. Speaking of Instapots and things like that, my air fryer died. Won't turn on now. We don't know what the hell happened to it. It just won't turn on. It worked perfectly fine. And last time we used it, I got it back out to use it again to make French fries for my son. Now the thing won't turn on. There's the little indicator light comes on, but it won't do anything else. The little digital thing on it won't turn on. So I'm going to have to go buy another one. Marsha loves snickerdoodle cookies. They're good. Throw it against the wall. Uh, we have a local guy here who he repairs small electronics and stuff like that, but you don't get them back. I mean, but he doesn't do them like repairs and then gives them back to you and then charges you for them. He fixes things like toasters and crock pots or whatever. He fixes things like that and then he donates them to families that need them. So I'll bring it down to him and he can do whatever he can do with it. It's not going to go in the landfill, basically what I'm trying to say. So have a wonderful Saturday. Have fun golfing, Will. I will. Thank you, Marcia. If you taking off? Needs more air, Will. Yeah, right? It needs something. They have one that I was looking at. I don't know if they have these stores near you, but it's kind of like a Bed Bath and Beyond store, but it's called Home Furnishings. Home Depot. They're like a big box store, like the size of like Home Depot, but it's called Home Furnishings. I don't know if they have them anywhere else except for here, but they have it's kind of like one that I've been looking at that I'm going to think about getting is it's a toaster oven. Put my hands on the screen here. It's long like a toaster oven, but it's got the convection oven and it's got the air fryer and everything built into it. I watched a review of the item on America's Test Kitchen, and so I'm thinking about picking it up. It's a couple $100, but they have one there, the same model that they tested on America's Test Kitchen. So I love watching that show, America's Test Kitchen, and they do kitchen gadget reviews and product reviews of like different, they compare different soy sauces and stuff like that. In our house, I'm not allowed to buy any soy sauce unless it's Maggie's soy sauce. It's the only thing we're allowed to have here. Every time I buy anything else, they're like, this is gross. We have a toaster oven now. So I'm thinking it on the counter space, though, and I'm going to take 3 items and combine it down into, 2 items. You love America's Test Kitchen? I have just about every season of the show on box DVDs. I've been watching it since it first came out. Here locally where I'm at, the only way you can watch it is on PBS. Kimmy Jean, good morning. It's on PBS in your area too, Interpeas? They also have, American Test Kitchen also has a magazine you can pick up any newsstands. Most of the places I find it, though, is near the checkout lines in the grocery stores. It's got some pretty good recipes in it every now and then. You don't even know if you have PBS. Oh, well, I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Most of the PBS stations, if not all of them, are digital now. But you can watch it right on YouTube. On YouTube, you can go back to look up America's Test Kitchen on YouTube, and I think you can go back 4 seasons ago and watch the older episodes and binge watch the entire thing. Click on their playlists. You watch PBS a lot. I used to watch PBS a lot more than I do now. I mean, remember, PBS is where we got Bob Ross. Bob Ross was a PBS man. Was paint a happy little tree right here. Yes. T Money, good morning. Happy little trees. There we go. A happy little tree right here. All right, now let's blend that in. Blend it in, the happy tree into the forest. I used to put Bob Ross on the TV, just so I could sleep at night. I'd work. I worked a varying shifts. They called it alphabet shift. Some weeks I'd be on graveyard, and then I'd be on swing, and then I'd be off for a week, and then I'd go to days, and then I would repeat the entire cycle over again. And it's kind of hard to sleep during the daytime. So I used to put Bob Ross on the television in the bedroom, and then just listen to him talk about painting. Reruns galore of Bob Ross. Yeah, happy little trees. Love Bob Ross. Love the afro. I think he was in the Army or something like that, or Air Force. He was in some kind of service. I watched the documentary about him. It's been a while, probably been about three or so years ago. I watched the documentary about him. He was very a prolific painter. And anybody hear that? I did. Beeping sound. I wonder if forgot to turn this off. Hold on. Forgot to turn the microphone, the external mics off. Radar alarm, fire alarm. No, that was the microphone it's wireless. It was telling me that I had some kind of signal that the mic was off. Mic was off, but the wireless thing there, I forgot to turn it off. It's powering down right now. It takes a couple minutes for it to power down and turn off completely. Bob was a good man. Helps him learn. My son, he likes PBS, but he watches it from the little tablet that he has. PBS Kids. He's that and Sagwa, I think it is. He doesn't get to play with his tablet, as much as he wants. But he gets to use it mainly when we're in the car, or I take him in my truck someplace where we have to run errands. Mr. Rogers, we don't get Mr. Rogers anymore on our PBS station. We don't get Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, none of it. They just don't air it here anymore on the PBS station. Electric Company. Every once in a while they run Electric Company, older 70s, early 80s reruns of Electric Company. 3, 2, 1, contact. And that they had the Mystery Sleuth, the Bloodhound Gang. Whenever there's trouble, we're on the double. We're the Bloodhound Gang. Oh yeah. See, all this is inside of here. Do I need to remember the jingle to a TV show like that? No, but I do. Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Green Jeans. I haven't seen him, Captain Kangaroo in a long time. Every once in a while, we get old reruns from WGN. And we get Bozo the Clown, Fraggle Rock. That's an old, Fraggle Rock was a good one. That was Jim Henson, wasn't it? Fraggle Rock. They teach reading and science a lot on PBS. Yeah. Our kids are past Sesame Street now. Now, yeah, my son's not so much, but they don't have it. There's no Mr. Rogers and no Sesame Street on our local PBS station. I can't get the episodes on, to watch them on the tablet or on the television. It's not even on their programming. Where Sesame Street used to be is the Muppets, or something like that. It's something like that. It's not the actual Muppets, but it's like a Muppet show. H.R. Puffin stuff. Connie, are you a child of the 80s? You let them watch Leave It to Beaver for the family goodness. I love those shows. Leave It to Beaver, Father Knows Best. That's family programming we don't get anymore. I mean, if there's family programming out there, I'm sure there is. I just never seen it. 60s and 70s. Let them watch, Chapanara Sheet. Good morning. Spot. Good morning. Welcome to the stream to both of you. Love Miss Piggy since I had a pig collection. Bye. Okay. Bye. Thank you for stopping in for a minute. Oh my God, I'm old. Abbott and Costello. Yeah, I don't know if I'd let my son watch Elvis, Abbott and Costello, or the Three Stooges, because right now he's in that stage where he's repeating, what he sees on TV, or on videos. So I don't think I'd allow him to do that. Learned a lot of things from the Beaver. Perry Mason, good show. I don't not something I would necessarily let my son watch, but Ward was awfully hard on the Beeve last night. Da 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 da. It's a good one, Spot. I remember that joke. Hey Ward, weren't you awfully hard on the Beeve last night? I can't remember who that was. Was that Eddie Murphy? I'm trying to remember who actually said that. For some reason, it might. I'm thinking back to Eddie Murphy and like Raw or something like that. It might have been somebody else completely different, but I remember the quote, or joke, whatever you want to call it. I think Ward was a softie sometimes to please his wife. Be right back. Sorry, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but my friend's here, and I could hear his stereo outside. I'm like, you got to turn it down, buddy. Not that I care if he bothers the neighbor too much next to me. It's just I don't want that music to be heard on this, and then I get flagged for demonetization from YouTube because they can hear music in the background. It's not safe being a kid now. Yeah, it is. It all depends on where you are and the circumstances around what's going on in your environment. I have no qualms about raising my son these days. I mean, I don't think I can let him run the streets like I did when I was a kid. I know when I was a kid growing up and where I grew up as a kid, we knew it was time to come home once the street lights came on. Have a good weekend, Jacqueline. Was a good show, though. Called it Little Fairy on the Prairie. Little House on the Prairie, or Little House on the Prairie, or Little Fairy on the Prairie. No, I don't think so either, Connie. So growing up where I did, my godparents lived across the street from me, when I was younger, and we never knew that the gentleman who lived just above the one street up, from not above like physical building, but just above the gas station, it turned out that he was just a huge pedophile, but we didn't find out about that until later on. I mean, none of us kids ever interacted with him. We always thought he was really strange, but he was convicted later on of like several cases of it. But we didn't know the danger was there, but it was always there. I never wore a helmet riding my bike, but I'm damn sure I'll make my son wear one now. Seat belts, yeah. I don't. And everybody else remember, station wagons with a rumble seat in the back that faced out towards the back of the car. My family had one of those. I mean, there were 7 kids at one point between me and all my siblings, and everything. My mom used to run a daycare, and she used to just put them in. You put 4 kids in the back seat. You put the smaller babies on each one of their laps, and then in the back there'd be 4 more, and then babies on their laps. Seat belts, what are those? I mean, I'm sure that the station wagon had them, but I don't ever remember putting them on. Smoking, right? That's a good one. Smoking indoors. Yep. We had the fake wood paneling and everything, just like the Brady's, except for ours was blue and not that greenish yellow. It was a disgusting baby blue. That thing burned along the state interstate, I think 94, just outside the Twin Cities, burned right to the ground. Not only did we lose the station wagon, but then the state of Minnesota sent us a bill because the car burned to the ground and it melted the blacktop on the freeway. They sent us a bill for to pay for the repair. Recreational weed now selling in Arizona. Matthew, good morning. That's cool. Well, it should be legal everywhere. Yeah, I live in Washington State. We have recreational marijuana and we have medical marijuana. You can go to I can go to 7-Eleven right now and I can buy a little jar of weed or pre-rolls. They have, I think, 6 or 7 different types of pre-roll joints. And you can buy the hashish. I think that's what they are. I think it's hash. State loves it. Been selling about a month now there. You love those? Yeah. I mean, I don't smoke weed, but to each their own. But every time I go over to my sister's house, and tomorrow I'm going over to my sister's house. That's something else I'm doing. I'm going to go put up a flagpole for my sister at her house. And I can guarantee tomorrow after I'm done, her husband will give me, a little plastic bag with a bunch of weed, and different things in it. And then I just give it away to my friends. It's just not my thing. But he's got so much of it that's left over because my niece, she they never have been able to figure out what was wrong with her and what is still wrong with her, to some extent. But she used to have really bad vertigo and really bad it's kind of like motion sickness, but she'd be sitting still. And the only thing that ever helped was weed. And then eventually we got her onto CBD oil, and it's a life changer for her. Now, this started off when she was in high school, and she actually had to drop out of high school because she couldn't, do anything anymore. I mean, she had no life at all. And because of the CBD oil, she's been able. Now she works full time. She goes to college. She's a productive member of society because of one thing that was illegal, before. Now she can use, and she doesn't get high, from it, but the CBD oil that she uses in an extract, she either puts it underneath her tongue or she vapes it, and it's brought her back from where she was. And they had her on so many different pills, and they never were able to find out exactly what's wrong with her. It's got to be a neurological issue, but they don't know what it is. But edibles are also the dispensaries you go to. That's cool, Matthew. Yeah, you'd be surprised, just ladies and gentlemen. So we're at last weekend, me and Tim went, we all gathered for a poker party. Me and Tim are by far the 2 youngest individuals there. The oldest friend of ours who was there was 98. So they're from 60 into their 90s. And how many of our friends who are there smoke weed? Oh God, do they smoke weed? And it helps them with everything from joint pains to, insomnia to, it's been a godsend to the group, to actually, be able to do something that is, grows naturally here. So why not? And remember, marijuana was, made illegal and listed as the same line as heroin because of a racist individual who didn't want migrant farmers to enjoy their off time. It's the only reason why it was ever made illegal and listed as a hard drug like heroin. Love CBD as well. CBD has no THC. Yeah, the THC is what makes people high, right? If my understanding is correct about it. Poop is natural and you don't smoke it. Good point, Inner Peas. Although some people do. It's a great fire starter. Cow dung. If it's dried out, it's a great fire starter. If you're off, in a survivalist situation, you break it apart. It's kind of like a punk, so it'll hold an ember a lot longer. Watts will never be able to smoke. LOL. Yeah. If only everyone will see it that way. Weed's good. Nothing wrong with it in my book. Just don't do anything stupid while you're on it. Get behind the wheel of a car, or operate heavy machinery, or do anything stupid like that. Captain Poop Sock. Okay, nice name. Weed just makes me insanely tired. I feel as if I'm getting older, I get more and more robbed of what was a great experience. I'm sorry. Interesting name, though. Captain Poop Sock. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Sorry I didn't welcome you. I hope you're having a great weekend so far. Smell of weed makes you nauseated and reminds me of your working days, Gala. Yeah. Right. More people die from alcohol poisoning than ever will from weed. But I was such a starch. I hated it. I hated weed. Didn't understand it. Didn't understand anybody who got high. Didn't like it at all. And it's worth telling again. I was like, I thought people who smoked weed, I had such a negative stereotype of people who did smoke weed until my wife got cancer and I watched her suffer. And I was just like, then this one simple thing made the difference in her life and her ability to survive. And I was like, why have I hated this for so long? And I was like, Peanut Butter, welcome. How are you? Doing great, Peanut Butter. Welcome to the stream. Most edibles, Connie, tell you just how much THC is in them. You don't have to go for the high potency ones. I know, like at the 7-Eleven, they have ones. I have friends who work there, so I sit there and talk to them, and they're all behind a glass case behind the counter, so children can't get a hold of them. You have to be 21 to be able to buy them. But they have ones there. They have brownies, the edibles. And they also have, I think they also have cookies too. But you want to talk about a way for the state to solve the state budget crisis? It solved the state budget crisis here, and then the legislators found ways to spend the money before they ever got it again. So now they're in debt again. All that extra money come flooding in, and they're like, "Wow, it took care of all that debt." So they found new ways to spend more money that they don't have, because that's what legislators do. So we're right back to where we were. Peanut butter, where's jelly? Peanut butter and jelly. It's probably one of my son's least favorite things is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He prefers just a jelly sandwich. Peanut butter. I'm going to die laughing if someone named Jelly shows up. He said, Erwin, I'm an ex-alcoholic, so weed was never medicine. Can't drink. I'll overdo it. Oh, see now, welcome. Thank you for purchasing another super sticker. Yeah, I think you're collecting up the entire collection, aren't you? I definitely pick someone who smoked weed as opposed to someone who drank a lot. Yeah, I can agree with you there. How old is my son, Spot? 4. 4 years old. He is all of 4 years old. Be 5 in July. You're a big fan of sandwiches? Yeah, me and my wife have 2 children. We have a 22-year-old daughter, and we have a 4-year-old son. Brett is also your friend? Well, I'm going to have to end the stream here pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen, because my friend's standing outside just kind of waiting for me. But I mean, he doesn't want to be on camera. Soul Sister, welcome. Wimp. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, everybody, for stopping by this morning to chat. I hope you all have a great weekend. If not, reverse, rewind. I hope you all have a great weekend. Don't forget, tomorrow we have another live stream tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So hope you all can make it then. 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, PDT, 7 p.m. But everyone, thank you again. You all have a great day today. Bye, Rupo.